Okay, hello everybody. My name is Hedley Nguyen Quintana. I am a medical doctor and also I am a student in epidemiology in Karolinska Institute. This time I am doing a screencast of a quiz that I make for B, and he says that yeah, he's right that when you do some kind of quiz for something that actually is things that matter to study, as I wrote here, you need to study, of course. You cannot actually get actually 50% if you actually have not studied, or you can actually get it 50% with studying. You have some experience actually handling these kind of concepts. And I will actually go question by question and see the answers. No? Okay, this is the first question, and I don't want to comment about that. It's just to know actually which level you have about these things. The following question actually is the Zen of Python command. In order to, I will demonstrate actually how this Zen of Python look like. I use open the Python shell, and I'm asking actually what's the command that open this show this Zen of Python, and the command actually is import this. And you see this is the Zen of Python, no? And it's a very beautiful thing to use. Although actually it's called the Zen of Python, it actually can be used to any programming language. And I actually think that everybody have to handle this kind of thing, regardless the programming language that you are using. Okay, I will just close this thing. No, actually, import this is the correct answer for this question. Import this, and actually go back to the command line. I make special directory for this. I will move to this directory to actually continue speaking about the other questions. The next question is if a dog is considered a class, Fido, my beloved dog, is considered, of course, an instance. Okay, let me. There's a lot of things here, and I will run. I will use the editor from the command line. That's the nano editor and the command line. And you see here, I have created a class animal that is inheriting the object family, the object class. Then it have a initializer that takes one argument as the self and the name, and the class animal inherit the name argument. Then I create another class that is the dog class that inherit from the animal class. So the animal class is the parent of the dog class, and this dog class has an initializer with three argument, the self, of course, name and breed, and then actually the first line of the initializer is an inheritance from the animal class, where we use inherit actually the name thing in the initializer, and we also have a special argument, the constructor that is the breed, and that we actually call the self.breed thing. Then we have a method for this dog animal that is called the bark. If the breed is not Chihuahua, then we will print a proper barking, and then we return. Else, that is not, it is Chihuahua is the thing. You use actually print squeeze quick because this how actually the Chihuahua barks actually use squeaks. And also I create another class that is inherited also from the animal class. It's another children of the animal, that is the bird, no, that just inherit the argument from the from the from the animal class. Then I create two instances of this animal class. One that I call Fido. I could call whatever I want, but just following the question is just Fido, my beloved Fido, that is a Chihuahua, and also Pete, that is a German Shepherd. Then I print the name of both Pete and Fido, and the breed of Fido, and then actually print that Fido barks, and I apply the method for barking. Then I look the pit barks, and then make pit barking, and then ask I am asking if Fido is an instance of animal, and then I ask if Fido is an instance of dogs. In order to run this code, I use Python Fido, and then when I run the code, we know that the name of the dog is Fido, Chihuahua is the breed. When Fido barks, actually use squeak because it's a Chihuahua dog. When Pete barks, actually it's a proper barking. Is Fido an instance of the class animal? This is true, and if Fido is an instance of the class dog, also true because when we use the method, um, I mean the function is instant. The inheritance actually uh, is um, is valid. No, I have another example when we use this squeaky thing. Let me just comment this out. You already know this. We actually created a new bird that is an instance of the class bird, and we wrote the code. Actually, we created a bird called Squeaky, and Squeaky is an instance of the class animal because the bird inherited the class is the parent of the bird. Animal is the parent of the bird class, but animal is not the bird have nothing to with dog for this reason. Actually, Squeaky is not an instance of dog. Well, so when we actually consider these stories of classes and this kind of thing, we are actually doing something that actually come later in the quiz, that is the abstraction. That we have some kind of story, some kind of attribute that the class has, some kind of methods thing that the class do. We actually are thinking in doing an abstraction. This actually, we're not talking about actual, real dogs or real birds. We're talking about just line of codes that represents either a bird, an animal, or a dog. So this is one of the principles of the object-oriented programming. That is called the abstraction. No? That is the correct answer for this question. The next one is a spreadsheet is considered a data structure. Why? Some of the people have answered that a spreadsheet actually have rows and columns. That is true. This is correct. I actually do not argue against that. However, this is not the reason actually a spreadsheet could be considered a data structure. The real reason is because it can not necessarily will have, but it can contain data points within it. We can have 0 data points, 1 data points, or a lot of data points. No? Which actually is different from the primitive variables. That variable that only can contain 1 data point. When we see actually our folder, the example I have for this is a file that I call the data structure.r. In order to run this file, I use the R interpreter, that is R script, and then I put data structures, and this data structure, when I run it, I have the help of a data set called the carbon dioxide data set. That is a data set in order to measure, to assess the data carbon dioxide uptake by some different species of plants. Now we have actually some information about the things. These are the sources where the data come from, and this is the thing that some example how to use that thing. No? Since I am in the command line, I use press Q, and we see. So actually, how a data of a spreadsheet of a data structure look like. This in R is called a data frame. No? Now have columns and rows, but the important thing is that there are more than 1 data point inside this data structure, and they have some kind of order and kind of thing. No? Not necessarily the data structure will have an order, but the important thing is must have the possibility to contain at least one or more than 1 data point inside. So which of the following language actually lacks a console or a shell or a terminal, we could say? And these are the 4 possibilities: Java, JavaScript, Python, and R. So here We have a file that I call consoles. I could cut to actually show the content of the consoles. And these are the three out of the four uh, different consoles or shells that you can open for different languages. No? The one that are any questions are the Node.js, that's actually for JavaScript. Python is for Python, of course, and R is for R. When I execute this file with Bash consoles, I enter into the Node data. This sign here means that I am in Node. No? So if I actually so a equals 3, for example, I create a variable that is a value of 3. If I actually write a, for example, I will return the value of 3. This is the JavaScript console that is actually associated with Node.js. So in order to exit, I actually put .exit and I exit the data, the Node.js, and I enter into the Python shell. So the Python shell, you can see it works, and I put a. Actually, a doesn't exist because this actually is another shell, but I can actually create a new variable a, and I can run it again. Say t equals true, for example, and say 3 elevated to t should be 3, because actually true is like 1. And we have actually the Python shell. In order to exit the Python, it's just exit, open and close parentheses, and then we enter into the R console. Actually, I have a very long heading. This R console is this actually is similar to what we see in the Node.js, but this is R. So in R, if I run A, there is nothing because A has not been created. And this arrow thing actually is a way to create variables in R. I mean, to do the assignments symbol, and you can have this is the R console how it look like. We can actually import data, again the carbon dioxide data, can import it, and we can actually look ls. We can actually see that the data carbon dioxide is there. You can actually see the names of carbon dioxide, data structure, plant type, treatment, and so on. In order to exit the the our console or our terminal, we actually put the word key, open and close parentheses, or you can actually put a no, actually, to avoid actually asking question about in order to save the environment and so on. So the correct answer for this question is Java, because Java doesn't have any kind of terminal or console of anything like that. Indeed, one could people actually can get confused with the issue that some IDEs, for example, Eclipse, and have something that's a terminal, but it's not true. Java is a how to say is a something that is kind of compiled. It's not a pure compiled language, and the terminal actually reflects the terminal of the operating system. So when actually you compile some program in Java, this program is executed in that terminal. But it's not, this terminal is not a terminal from Java. It's a terminal of the operating system that you see in the IDE. So the next question is, which of these languages are considered weak type? Well, before of those, we have to understand actually what do we mean with weak type and strong type. The weak type, when you create a variable in any language, you just create a variable, and this variable will have some type. For example, there are some languages that only have numbers, there's only that only have strings and numbers and so on. No? So these things, these different languages, once you create a variable, it will have a type, and if you can change the type of the variable, this language is considered a weak type language. But if the language is a language that doesn't allow to change the type, it's called a strong type language. Among the languages that we have here, only Python and R are the only ones that are considered weak type. And I have a demonstration here. I have a what is this here? We have a file, let me see, control L, file called weak strong versus strong type. And here we have the Node.js compiler. Forget about this line of, these are, they are comment that are irrelevant. Don't read them, they are wrong. We create a variable called a, then we actually write to the console, then we change the type from a number to a to string. Then we also do it in the console, and then we change this a again to a boolean, and then it actually write this into the standard output or console. No? When I actually put enter and I execute this file, we see that there's no problem. No, there's absolutely no problem running this file. When when we go to R, we say that JavaScript is not in the list, but JavaScript is a weak type language. R is also a weak type language. I create a variable here called A, and I print it, then I call another, actually change the type from this is a character type, and it changed to a number, and this is printed, and here actually changed to a boolean. No, the T is an abbreviation for say true. And when we run this code using the interpreter, we see that it's no problem. We have hello, we have the numbers, we have true. And then we go to Python. In Python, actually it's a type cat. We actually read the content of this file. A is equal to true, then I print A, then I change that to 12, and then I print again, and then actually change to a list, and then I actually print again. When actually I execute the file, we see that it actually runs without any problems. We actually see that A is true and change to 12, and it changes back to this list with a string inside the list. Then when we go to C is very interesting. Take a look at this thing. So C, we first actually make this line to include the stdoh in order to have the input and output. Then actually we create the integer main, this is the main function that returns 0. This means that everything will be okay. Then we create a variable called a, which a value is 9. Then I print that variable with this strange thing here. Then actually change the value as in C, the string doesn't exist. This will be what is it thing? A series of, is a string of characters, and I print that string of characters. Look what happened when actually run that thing. This thing is very funny. C actually give me warnings that actually this is wrong, that I should not do the changes in the type. However, it actually when I execute the file that it creates, I am executing the file that it creates. This is a compile thing. So compile means that I have a script, is read, is converted into a file, and the file is the thing that is wrong, not the script. And that is this a.out, and this a.out actually is executed, and then I destroyed it. You saw before when I run the ls command that there was no a.out because it doesn't exist. It was created right now, and then actually it's destroyed. No? And it's compiled. Even if C is give me warnings, it's compiled. Let's see what happened with C++. C++ is like a little brother of C. We actually include the IO stream, it is in C++, and we use the namespace std in order to use this funny notation downstairs. We have an integer function, and that returns 0, that is everything is okay. Then we create the same that we have with C, create a variable type integer with value 9, then we print it out, then we try to change the value to a string, then we try to print out, and then we return 0. But when we try to run this thing, we get an error because this conversion is not allowed. And when we try to run this file, actually the file doesn't exist because it failed to compile. So actually in C++ is a very strong language, and we cannot do this kind of conversions. Let's go to Java. So in Java, we create a class hard class. So I actually was wrong. Actually, it should be strong class. And the strong class actually have this method, this main method that is public, static, and void, as usual, and it has a string of arguments. No, then we create a variable type integer of 12, and we try to print it. Then we change the value to hello world, and then we try to print that value. But we try to compile in Java. The compilation should fail. Take a while. Take a while. Take a while. Hmm? Java is a bit slow. Sorry. Ah, this Java is annoying. Oh, sorry. Can go up. Can go up. I didn't. It didn't show it. It's simply I should get an error. This is the okay. This is the Go language. There's a mistake here. The Go language. You see that we import the package main. We import format. We actually create a main function. We actually infer the value of a with 3. Then we try to print it and then actually change the value to hello world, and then we try to print it again. When we try to do that with the, it actually said that you cannot actually change the type because it's a strong language Go. So the actual answer to this question is R and Python, because Java is a very strong language. C is something in between. We can actually discuss about C. C++ and Go are very strong, and they are not allowed to change the type once you create the variable. No? So this is the question. Programming language usually need to be installed to develop programs and to run them. Some of them, however, are built in the operating system. Which of the following are included by the following Windows? In Windows, none of this language are included. You need to install R, you need to install Python, you need to install Java, you need to do some kind of compiler for C++ in order to run. Windows have a programming language that allows you to write scripts to do different things from the command line. The problem with that thing, I don't know the name of that language, but it's a very useful to know that kind of thing. This question, instead of referring to Windows, refer to the Unix-like language that are Mac and Linux. In Mac and Linux, there are two programming languages that are built in the operating system. One of them is Python, and the other one is Bash. However, there is an exception for this rule, and the exception is that I am running a Chrome OS system, and the Chrome OS doesn't have Python. No? But if I understand, all of the other distribution of Linux have Python, including Ubuntu, this other what's other thing, Fedora, this kind of thing actually have Python and the Bash. And Mac, of course, have Python and Bash. You have a Mac computer, you can open your terminal, write Python, and you enter into the Python shell. And the Bash, of course, is the programming language of the terminal that I used before in order to demonstrate other things. So the MIT Inventor is a framework that allows to develop Android apps. Which of the following programming language is the framework based on? Here I make a mistake. I actually thought that actually this MIT Inventor framework was based on Scratch, but it's actually not true. This is actually something that is independent of all of the other programming language. Let me show you what I mean. Let me put like app, put inventor. Okay, MIT app inventor. Yeah, the MIT app inventor is a pure graphical user interface where you are allowed to put things, elements, in order to do your how to say your application in an Android. It's a very interesting thing. Some of you actually have responded that Java is based on Java, but it's not actually true. It's something totally different from Java. It's more as it's very graphical thing. It has nothing to do with Java. No. Java is the is the native language of Android apps. And nowadays Swift is the one for iOS. But I have a lot of loading this thing. Ah, damn it! Let's close it. I just closed it by mistake. So the MIT App Inventor is something that is very useful. It doesn't want to load. Damn it! It just load here. Yeah, here it is. I tried to create an app, but it didn't. No, doesn't not that doesn't work. It's because I didn't have time actually to develop it. To me, actually, it's kind of procrastination. I should have. It's a very cute thing. I will give you in the description this MIT App Inventor. No. So this question is: a driver drives his or her car, is pressing the brakes to make the car stop. Unless the driver is a mechanic, she or she knows that the car will stop when the brakes are pressed, but she or she has no idea why the car stops. Which principle of the OOP, I mean, objective or oriented programming, applies to explain the lack of knowledge of the driver, and this actually is called encapsulation. So encapsulation refers to that. You have people, you can have classes, and each class do some kind of specialized a job. And the specialized job actually it does actually without knowledge what actually the other classes are doing. Another example of an encapsulation is that when are you are have a bank account or something like that, you know actually what do you have in your own account, but you have no idea what happened in the other account or the other clients. That is something related to the encapsulation. Another idea of encapsulation is the idea of the password. The password for keys for example, in a bank or in a website or whatever, these kind of things are actually not known actually to the developer. The only person who knows the account or should know the account is the owner of the account. But some of these websites actually give some mistake to send by email or something like that, but it's not correct to do. That's a very bad practice to actually share the passwords to everybody else. Okay, it says as a general rule, most of the programming languages, in most of the programming languages, the dot cannot be used to name a variable. In which of the following language this is not the case? And the answer is in R. And I will demonstrate that in R. I can open the console here, and we have access to the console. And then I create a variable called this is a variable, and I use assign a value of one, and I can actually have dots in the name of the variable in R. In all of the other languages, is the dot actually have to are used to represent either the attributes or method of a class, but it doesn't work that in R. R has object-oriented programming, but it's a bit different from what it is shown in um, in other languages. No? Okay, a sentence always ends with a semicolon. However, in some of the languages, the semicolon is optional. Which language are we talking about? The languages that the semicolon is optional. JavaScript, I'm not really sure. It seems to be the case. Python is R, Swift, and Go. Actually, the program that must not need a semicolon, but the other one are they need a semicolon in order to run. Otherwise, you will have an error. Java, C, and its family, and they actually require this semicolon to run. Which of the following regex actually can represent the blood pressure? And the answer actually is this strange regex that we have here. Let me R here. So this is the regex that is related to the blood pressure, no? Blood pressure. I'm still in R. And although I can do it in any programming language, sorry. In R we need actually to have actually a double thing, it's something like that. Yes, this is correct. This is the blood pressure, no? So the blood pressure that I'm trying to represent goes actually from a value of between 10. The systolic pressure goes from 10 to 299, and the diastolic blood pressure goes from 10 to 199. Which actually is not a real reasonable blood pressure, but it's way better than the other options that we have. This 120 is the normal pressure, but it doesn't take into account the abnormal ones. And this actually goes from 1 to 99, 999 for the body systolic and the blood pressure, which is not reasonable, and this thing, of course, doesn't exist. One example to show you is actually with grep. We have 120 over 80. And we plot the blood pressure variable that we created. Emit blood pressure, and it should return 0. Why did it return 0? Sorry, it's because the other way around. 120, sorry, here. I put it the other way around. I put the arguments in the wrong order. And that thing actually is quite important in R to put it in the correct order, the argument. And I suppose it gets 1, no? 120 over 80, 120 over 70 also is true. Let me put it, better to put it in logical, I think. It's true. Over 10 is also true. 100 is also true. Let's say 999 is false. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, I see why it was wrong. I have to put it like this. This is more specific. Let's try again. False. It's true. It's also true. Let's say 240 over 100 is also true, but maximum value here is 299 over 199. Also true, but 300 should be false, I suppose. Yeah? So actually, this is actually how the regular expression works. The explanation of the regular expression, we explain it just quickly, are very useful, are very powerful to assess tests. Here actually forgot to put in the anchors, and here actually we have the first we have 2 digits that could not necessarily be preceded by 1 or 2. Then we have the slash, of course, and the 1 that not necessarily be there. It's not optional. And then actually we have 2 digits, no? And then actually when we finish the expression, I put in more detail about that. What is the idea of the blood pressure? No, the other answer are this is really with good, but it's too broad, and in real life it doesn't work. This actually is only restricted to normal people, and this is not absolutely no. It doesn't exist. Uh-huh. Here, sorry, I didn't show before the MIT inventor, and these are different things for the interface. Yeah, the components, the properties, and when you have this thing, actually you can create actually very nice applications with the MIT inventor. No, okay, this is everything I will like to show you. This actually this of course is something that you actually notice any possible mistake or whatever. Just let me know. But I can see there's no big mistakes in this quiz. The only thing that is kind of doubtful is that the use of the semicolon and JavaScript. I'm not really sure about that. But the other thing I'm pretty sure, but I am a bit sad that nobody actually have get actually all the points in this quiz. Okay, see you in the next time, and I hope actually you have enjoyed this little thing. And okay,